What's going on, guys? We are in the studio right now, and today I'm going to show you guys my process when it comes to editing real estate videos. I just finished a project, so let's watch the full video, and then we'll jump back to my project timeline, and I'll go over my process. So here's a full video. Okay, so now we are back in Final Cut Pro. As you can see, this is my project timeline. Nothing too complex here. 2 layers, and I don't even really need 2 layers. This can all fit on one. So the video is under 2 minutes. I don't usually like to do anything over 2.5, 3 minutes at max. Sometimes it depends on the size of the property. This was a smaller property, so it ended up being like 1 minute and 45 seconds. And so the first thing I usually do when I start a project is, depending on the type of property that you are shooting, I want to pick out appropriate music that matches that property. And by that, I mean, like, if you're shooting like some sort of like trendy condo in Miami where young people are, you might want to shoot like, or use like some fashion lounge music. If you're shooting something where it's for like older owners and it's a high-end luxury, maybe you want to use something a little bit more classical, piano, slower beat. So you got to know, what type of property or what type of buyer you might get when you're making your music selection. So there's also 2 types of songs that you can use. So sometimes when you download from one of these like royalty-free websites like Envato Elements or Artlist.io, you can get like just like a looped file. So like it just loops every 4 or 8 beats, and then throughout the whole duration it's just the same beat. Or it can be something similar to this, where it's like it has an intro, a bridge, different elements throughout the song, like downbeats, upbeats. And so that's what we're using today. And I learned this from editing music videos, but I like to edit my footage and all types of videos that I do that require music. I like to edit to the beat. It's easier for the user to follow along. So, let's talk about some of the first shots that I start out with. So, as you could visually see here, the first 15 seconds are the intro portion of the song. So I'll play that just a little bit so you can hear it. And then I'll play a little bit towards the end where it's about to bridge into like the main portion of the song. So as you could hear, it transitions into like the main element of the song. And so I like to use that to my advantage to basically use the intro portion to introduce the exterior of the home. And so we took a lot of aerial footage for this property because it's located in between the intercoastal and the ocean. And that's probably the biggest selling point of this. So what I did is I did a really high shot of the location. So as soon as you're watching, you're like, wow, this is in a great location. And I use that to also overlay the address, just so you know where it's at. And so I'm showing the view facing the ocean. So my next shot, I'm going to try to switch that up to show the opposite end. And so on the second shot, we're showing the intercoastal. And then we're doing the same thing, which is just kind of like a half moon around the property. And then another high shot where we're doing like south to north alongside the water. And, you know, even towards the back, you can see a bridge and over to Boca Lake, if you're familiar. And then for the fourth shot, right before we get into the property, I get a little closer since we're going to be going into the property next. I go a little closer to the property and then I make it a little bit interesting by adding a speed ramp. So speed ramping just means like you're switching speeds. So I go from like a 50% speed reduction to like a 2x speed up, and then to another 50% reduction. And then as it transitions, we move to the interior. And I personally like to shoot in a manner where the user understands the flow of the property. I know there's some realtor or some videographers that when they shoot video, they'll show just like random rooms and you don't really understand where you're at or how the actual home flows. So I like to act as if I'm walking through the door and following along all the main areas first. And so right here is a great shot that shows like the foyer, the front door, the kitchen. And it shows the kitchen because I'm going to be going into the kitchen next. So to keep it interesting, we do another speed ramp into the kitchen. And then again, the kitchen is the main selling point, so you want to show multiple angles, right? So we showed an angle coming in from the foyer. Now we're going to show an angle coming in from the other side of that island. And then they have some pretty high-end appliances, so a little closer shot showing off the appliances. And then for the last kitchen shot, I want to show where I'm going next. So we're going to shoot the living room next. And so from here, you could see the kitchen island, and you can also see the dining room area in the living room. So the user knows and understands the flow of the house. So we're transitioning over the counter, and we're moving into the living room shot. So this is just a small little living room area space with the L couch. So you don't need to do too many angles. If it was a bigger living room, maybe do a third or a fourth angle. This one I just chose to do two. So here we're doing one quick angle, and then we're doing another interesting shot. So where we're going from the ground and we're pushing up. And again, we're going to go to the dining room next. So the user can see that there's a dining room table back there. They know where the next shot is. And then here we get a little bit creative by doing I call it like a split cut. And one thing I like to mention is that depending on your price point, you might add these as like additional features. You know, like normally I'm not doing split cuts and I'm not doing tracking and creative little shots like this. So if you want to add this on for an extra price point, I suggest that you do that. So all this is I'm showing the dining room, and then you hear that bing. That's when I choose to add that element, right? So it makes sense, right? So use the music, and now, luckily, the music starts to bridge out again into like this little like groovy section. And we're moving into the master. So that worked out great because like the master is like the showpiece. So the music changes. We're in the master. We're going to show a bunch of different angles of this. And like it starts to slow down. So I make sure the footage is nice and slow. That follows along with the beat. right? So now we're in like this like little funky groove here. I'm gonna show the master bath. Master bath is nice, so you want to show a few different angles as well. Don't zoom in on the toilet, you know what I mean? Just so again, a little creative piece here where all we're doing is we're just doing a split cut again, and then we're transitioning to that scene and then back to the original scene. So that follows the beat. Very nice. Now you'll also notice that all these scenes are a lot shorter too, and they're not multiple angles. And that's again because when we're showing off a property, we're showing multiple angles of the main selling features: the kitchen, the living room, the master, the exterior, if they have a nice exterior. So multiple angles of the aerials, multiple angles of the kitchen, living room, master bath. And then we move over to like the extra rooms, you know, and then we just do like quick pushing shots. The balcony wasn't too big, so we just do like 2 quick shots of the balcony. Nothing interesting, not a great view. Quick shot of that room. And then they had amenities, so we're just going to show off like a quick left to right pan of, you know, the gym. And then like the card lounge room. And then here again, the music is changing. And we're exiting the property. So I like to use this opportunity to show the pool that I haven't showed off yet. And we're starting low to the ground and exiting high up, transitioning to aerial footage. So see how I slow down the footage as like the song slows down a bit. And you hear that. So like I use that to like slowly zoom into the property. Again, a great shot of the property. And now we're exiting, right? So now my shots aren't pushing in anymore. Now they're zooming out or pushing out. And we're getting really high up with the aerials and then just showing off the property one more time. And this is kind of more of like a lifestyle shot too, because I was lucky enough to get 2 jet skiers on an intercoastal. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, we got a dock, you know, we could jet ski. This is a cool property, blah, blah, blah. So that was a cool shot. Got lucky there. And then again, the big hero shot showing the location with the water on both sides. And you use that to, you know, input your call to action or your lower thirds, your address or your agent information. And then you just fade to black. But remember, I also use a similar shot to the beginning because again, you know, where's my hero shot? You know, showing this really nice location. And then this is another similar shot. But instead of like panning around, we're zooming out. And then fade to black. So that's pretty much it, guys. You know, this is not a tutorial talking about like color grading or how to use certain elements. You know, I think this is more helpful just to talk about the concept or the thought process that goes into putting the video together, and then you guys can add your own creative touches on top of that. And if like you're wondering what like color grading is, you know, like for example, like this is graded and color corrected already, and then this is the original shot, so it's very bland. I shoot it in C-Log, which gives me like more dynamic range, but again, technical stuff, not going to get into that. And then just remember the stuff I told you. And if you guys have any questions, and this is on YouTube, so leave a comment or a like. If you want me to shoot any other type of real estate tutorial video, just let me know. And you can find my portfolio at www.bobbymillette.com, or you can just Google Bobby Millette and you'll find all of my work on the first page of Google. Again, my name is Josh Vega. My online alias is Bobby Millette. I know it's confusing, but whatever. All right, have a good one.